So we have Anita here with us, and it is really important that people understand how especially people in the diaspora, that they understand how the world is not as small as you grew up in, or that the diversity even within the Black community is tremendous. And not just, because especially as Americans, we get caught on skin tone and shades and things like this, north, south, not realizing that around the world, those things don't mean anything. But you don't really get to know that or realize how, in kind of the larger scheme of things, how little it means until you do go somewhere. So that just kind of setting the stage about why it's so important to talk to people who know what they're talking about. So Anita is the CEO of Black Travel Summit. You know what? I'm not going to do that because I have show notes. So just to let you know, sometimes my meds don't fully kick in before the show, and so I have to read my show notes to keep me grounded and anchored. So this might be one of those times. So let's my show notes say I should give you an opportunity to introduce yourself so that they can know who you are, not just me reading and what I looked up on the internet. So go ahead and share who you are with them.
I appreciate that, William. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Anita François. I'm the founder and CEO of Black Travel Summit. I'm also an archaeologist. Fun fact, I did my master's in archaeology, so I've always been super interested in history, culture, particularly as it pertains to the Afro diaspora globally. But we can get into that a little bit more later. And my love of travel kind of led me to creating the Black Travel Summit, which focuses on my people, right? So we create events. We have a membership platform. We collaborate and partner with so many amazing corporations and Black-owned businesses, and we're in the business of highlighting and celebrating our entrepreneurs, our business owners, etc., and bringing them to the forefront to let people know that we are out here. We are doing things, and we should be recognized for it.
And one of the things I have to say, like when you all go to their site and their social media presence, it really is about highlighting what's there. It's not all like, hey, for the low price of $49.99, you too can go and visit an exotic place. And honestly, especially finding out that you are an archaeologist, that this is a science for you, not just, hey, an opportunity, for me to do some good business stuff. And also not that it's a passion like I am connected to my ancestors. It sounds like, and the image that you all portray is that it's all of those things together, with the emphasis on not just getting that, but sharing that and helping to educate other people about the diversity in the diaspora. Or am I just reading too much into your website? Because I go too far sometimes. That's the show note too. Don't go too far.
Are spot on. You are spot on. And it's insane that you actually noticed all of that and got that from the website, because I'm very intentional with the information that we portray to the public, right? I am extremely passionate about it. I love my people. I love what it is that we can achieve and have achieved historically, right? And I think as an individual I consider myself to be very caring, but also I'm very cognizant of the inequities that exist. And I am a very fair person, and I will ride to the end to ensure that justice prevails.
Okay.
Regardless the skin color, skin tone, religion, etc. That's just who I am. So authentically and just kind of naturally, this is where I fell,
And so it's funny that I get an opportunity to talk to you from the UK, because one of the examples I use often is that I've never been to the UK, but I will argue anyone up or down that you all drive on the opposite side of the road that we do here. And I use that to illustrate how a lot of us create these ideas about other people based on we don't have any primary sources. Like I literally do not have firsthand information that is true. But if I'm getting ready to go to London, if I'm going to travel, I am preparing everything around that idea. And unfortunately, for a lot of people in our communities, I'll be honest myself, I am comfortable. You are the only Black archaeologist I have ever met. And so for me, archaeologist was Indiana Jones. Archaeologist was the guy in the library who seemed a little, honestly, you don't look weird. I got to be honest. When I think of archaeologists,
I appreciate it.
Wow, I'm probably going to get a show note on that one. I'm probably gonna get a show note on that one. Okay, all right. But you know what I mean? Like there are these stereotypes, and kind of like for me driving in London, they're based on all of these images that we have. Hell, for a lot of people, archaeologists. Oh no, he was a paleontologist, but I was thinking Ross from Friends. But even then, there's so much like dinosaurs or raiding tombs. But when I started, I met an archaeologist. They explained to me like the science behind it all and the storytelling nature of the science. It is not just, hey, look what I found and let's look at it. It's like, no, understanding this is going to give me a show notes. Why don't you say the rest of this? Because I'm too excited. I realize that.
No, I really appreciate it, honestly. And just to be able to see the enthusiasm, right, the excitement as well, because you're absolutely right. There aren't many people of color in archaeology, and we can kind of look at it on a deeper kind of in a deeper light and look at how the inequities exist within our communities and the societal constructs as to why it is that we may not necessarily be able to undertake archaeology, because, you know, archaeology is, as they call it, a rich man's sport or a rich man's hobby.
Science, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's a science, right? But then also, as you stated as well, the representation isn't there. So when the representation isn't there, when we only see ourselves being basketball players or musicians or celebrities, that's all we kind of go towards.
Right.
But we can see ourselves in other industries, and now it's definitely improving. We see ourselves as doctors, as lawyers, etc. We have the power and the control to push the narrative now, at least if it's via social media, it's something, right? And I think that's what's important. So yes, those inequities do exist, but yes, this is something that is more than achievable, and I think a lot more people are starting to realize that.
Absolutely, and the other thing that I want to make sure that people understand is the difference between a hobbyist, a part-timer, and a professional. And the reason that I want to, because honestly, the only thing I know that makes you an archaeologist is that you said, "Hey, I'm an archaeologist." Yeah. I don't know if it's like there you know, it's like an archaeology, but my name is Anita, archaeologist. And it's like no, that's not. There's nothing like that. So what I have found, especially to your point, you were talking about the benefits of social media, about getting the word out, but the other detriment of social media is that the barrier to entry of the information is so low. Mm-hmm. You can get good information out really quickly, but bad information can flow as well. And so when you're talking about you being an archaeologist and a museum curator and having those experiences, talk about if you don't mind, talk about your professional background to get there, because it's for real. It's okay. So I don't know if you saw too many of the shows, but we don't keep it 100 here, but we keep it 85 because 15% y'all don't need to know about. I'm telling you, my business, not yours. 15%. But when we do come, we come correct. And so I want people to understand that we're not just talking to you because she has a really cool accent and we don't know her, so let's bring her to because real talk. In America, you sound like we should just listen to you, because that whole colonies thing is still raining on front. And there's still some about James Bond and everything. It's like, she probably telling the truth, because you hear her, it sounds like Shakespeare. And we all learn that for some. Okay, well, so no, sorry, I got sidetracked. It's the okay. So talk to us about your professional background so they can understand what it really means and why they should listen to you and understand that the Black Travel Summit isn't just something like, oh, you know what, I have a website, but like something that's meaningful and thought. And because it is thoughtful, it really is.
Yeah, no, definitely. First of all, I kind of want to go back to the comment that you made about accents, right? And this is something I will argue all day. Don't just take my word for it because I speak like this, okay? Everyone has an accent, depending on where you were born, where you were raised, right? Where you live, like you can adopt an accent essentially, right? Over years. And the English accent should not be synonymous with prestige or intelligence or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never, just always go out there and do your own research. Always look up things for yourself. Be autonomous, right? Don't just take people's word for it just because they speak like it.
And that's why I was saying that it is that colonization mindset that still exists. Exactly. Even in America, like, and I never really understood this. William Shakespeare, like not from here, not from here,
Yeah.
like died hundreds of years before here was even a here,
Yes.
but somehow he's a mainstay in American literature. And what it does lead to is, because you sound like you should say forsooth soon. And it's like, well, I mean, Miss Bailey said that forsooth the people who wrote this were smart. So she sounds like Shakespeare, then she must be smart. But I am grateful for you making sure, again, because we keep it 85, making sure that people understand the need to be their own advocate, because we are really big on agency. And again, and I want to get to it because I've seen the show. I have seen the stuff that you do, and it really is empowering. Not just, oh, look at this little picture. Oh, this is a great picture. It is the story and the understanding, and done in such a rich and depth. You know what? Again, I started talking again. Now I see why they keep writing this down like every week. This is a note. I get it now. Okay.
I love it. It gives me energy. I love the vibe. I love the energy, and I think it's good for people who are empaths. Because it automatically gets them kind of there as well. So I really appreciate it. I really do. But yes, no, it's always going to be in our mission, in our ethos, to create things that are meaningful, that are intentional, that are authentic, right? We are in the business of empowering people. We're in the business of connecting people and showing people what it is that they can ultimately achieve if they put their mind to it, and also if they connect with the right people. And that doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I have to connect with a larger brand out there, right? There's horizontal networking as well. And that is as important, if not more, because then you ultimately grow together. When that person reaches a certain level, they can bring you up. Exactly. Vertical is fine as well.
Yeah.
Diagonal.
But the power dynamic, though, especially as a person of color, entering some of these spaces, that power dynamic is always there. And sometimes, especially for those of us who may have been first or few, we bridge that power dynamic, and we owe, because that was part of the dudes getting there. And it is, to me, it is our responsibility that for the person behind me or beside me, I have borne some of these burdens, so you don't have to. You don't have to pay, even if you got to pay. You will still have to pay, but there's a certain part of it you don't have to pay anymore, because I did that already.
Exactly.
And again, this is part of the story of the culture. Because I want to jump into, oh my God. Woo. All right, you go ahead. I need to calm down a little bit, because I want to talk about the cultural, because oh my God, I asked you a question about your professional life, and I didn't get to that, because I want to, okay, so let me be clear again, so I can tell you where we're going. One of my active working theories is that some of the challenges that people in the diaspora have engaging in predominantly white or European culture is this idea that it literally was not designed around us genetically, around our ethos, around us culturally. That we come from less of a capitalist society and more of a gift economy, one that's social in nature. So the relationship is the defining characteristic of our commercial transactions. So as I do business consulting for the last 20 years, one of the things that I find, again, most of my business consulting has been with people of color. So this is not absolutely not scientific or anything. It's absolutely biased. Statistically not prejudiced, but is that just about all of the businesses that's developed by people of color, they have this give back element to it. It is that, something I do has to empower the community I came from, or it's not worth it. Exactly. And that level of inconsistency in the ethos of capitalism and the nature, the genetic, the cultural, the spiritual, the historical, the social, the sociological nature of who we actually are is some of the challenge that we have. And this place wasn't designed for us. So that's why I want to get to. So, but we still probably need to, because they're going to tell me I didn't talk about the professional part. No, so I don't want no smoke. No smoke. Okay, so go ahead. Tell us about your professional life. How you got to where you are.
Yeah, no, sure. And so, okay. So just to kind of start from the beginning, right? Not all the way from the beginning, but in some way. I actually started my professional career, and there's a few different things. I think as people of color, we already know, especially as Black people of the diaspora, we're very talented. We work through expressions. We're expressive people. We're spiritual people. We're connectors. We're social people, right? So I've dabbled in dance. My mother is actually from East Africa, from the Seychelles, and my father's from Haiti.
Okay.
But they met here. So I've dabbled in dance, in the traditional dances of the Seychelles. I've dabbled in music. I've dabbled in so many different areas. But ultimately, it led me to realizing that I love culture. I love history. Let me undertake this. So after going through TV production, doing a bachelor's in that, I ended up doing a master's in archaeology at UCL. Right now,
Whoa. I'm on this side of the pond. I have no idea what that means.
so I'm about to explain it to you.
Okay, I was like,
UCL is University College London. At the time I was attending, I think it was number 6 in the world.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
But hear this now. I had no clue. I did not know this university. I had seen the course and it appealed to me. It attracted me. I applied for it and I got in. And I was just like, okay, great. Yeah, this is a course I love. About it. And he said, what? This is number 6 in the world. I think number 3 in the UK. How? And I said, you know what? That's probably because I didn't know. Right. So I manifested it because I'm like, this is just something that I can just, it's accessible. And I think a lot of people don't really understand that accessibility is also a frame of mind as well.
All of the energy. And again, when you look at cultures and you start to realize there's a continuum of thought or a thread of thought that navigates through all cultures about the things that we refer to as empathy, spirituality, energy, all of these things from disparate cultures all over the globe. It has to be part of a common human experience. Like there is literally no other way. And in the study of culture, you get to see the evolution of it over time, like how these things manifest over the curve of a society's existence or those types of things and the implications that it has for us.
Yes.
Like how the hell we get here? Okay, show notes again. Okay. All right, sorry. You are the guest. Like I am. Yeah, you want to switch sides of the screen so you can ask me questions. Clearly, I'm excited about this. It's just so like what? Oh yeah, right. No, go, yeah. So you talked about going to. So for those in America who don't understand what that number 6 means, she went to the Harvard or Yale of the United States. So like because again, I recognize we don't get a lot of cross-cultural communication here or information. So that's why I wanted to. I'd heard of University. I've heard of University College of London, but UCL I never heard it referred to that. So I was like, wait. But this is again, this is what you do.
Yeah.
I don't have to show up to London to now understand that they have an Ivy League system, a system and a comparable Ivy League. Ta-da! A simple conversation outside of my comfort zone has changed the way that I see the world.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's I think it's something that this is why human connection is important, cross-cultural as well as international, right? It's very important. But so basically I became an archaeologist essentially, right? By any means of the word. I graduated with my master's. I did plenty of field work. So if you want to refer to me as an archaeologist, I guess you could, because I have a certificate that says I'm an archaeologist.
Okay, there you go. And a certificate for the number 6. How about that? There you go. Number 6 in the world says you are official. That's certification. That's fine. That's the credibility we need. So again, I want to make. So she got a certificate from a Harvard type organization in her country. So that's why I need y'all to understand who we're talking to right now. Okay.
But I also want to mention something as well. I personally choose not to subscribe to those systems as well, because I paid how much money for a piece of paper to tell me who I am? Do you know what I'm getting at? It's I think we need to create our own destinies, right? And if that's what you want to do, then by all means you do it. You do what makes you happy. But don't think that that is the end all be all, and that you are going to be happy once you've.
Oh my God! What? So this is why we're doing this, because I've been looking for like my philosophical soulmate, my life, and you just keep saying the stuff that I say when you're not here, and I've never met you before. It makes me feel so good about myself. Okay. So yes, you are saying, and because I want to make sure, because I want to make sure to establish your credentials, not necessarily because it defines who you are, but also to make sure that people understand that there are levels to the study behind this. Now, I have it's some degrees and stuff like that, and I know people who I don't mess with them. Like, no, if they say it, I trust it.
Yes.
Like, because I know them. But I also know people who have PhDs, EDDs. Now, some people with some degrees, I help them edit their dissertations. And I also know some other people who have degrees that I wouldn't ask them for time. Like, what time? No, can't trust it. They might not have set their watch right. They might not have done daylight savings or whatever it is we're doing. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
And so to your point about the degrees, you are right that you still need to do your additional research, but understanding who you are, I think, will also help them understand the cultural context of some of the rest of our conversation. Because especially, and we're BlackUSA.news, so I want to make sure that's why I'm focusing on Black people in the USA. Yeah. And I know that for many of us, the idea of another country. Actually, watch this. I used to work in Baltimore City Public Schools, and Baltimore City is 200 miles. I don't know how many that is in kilometers. I can't do the math that quick, but 200 miles from Baltimore. New York is 200 miles from Baltimore. And while I was working, and so to tell you how, when I was married, my wife was from New York, and we would take that trip like over the weekend. So it's not a long way away.
Yeah.
There was a young woman in a high school when I worked there, and it's like we were talking about dream building, like, what do you want to do one day? And she said, one day, like when I get older and successful, I want to go to New York and stand in Times Square like you see them doing the movies.
Wow.
What? We could get, if you got $40 on you, we could get that done this afternoon. Like, but in her world, it was New York.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, England, who, like, I heard about the hostels there. You might get fleas or something, and then there's sex shops, and then you might be rude. And they have racism, but different race. Oh my God, I can't go. It's too
different type. Yeah.
So talk to us about the commonalities across cultures in the diaspora that you've seen.
So the one thing that I've noticed about being in the UK and moving here, okay, so first I'm going to talk about the dissimilarities.
Oh, okay.
Right? So moving here, and I've always loved my people, regardless. Moving here has, in my experiences, I can't say this is everyone's experiences, but in my experiences has kind of put me in a position where I have to not be the ambassador, but be an ambassador for people within my community or communities, right? Because we're not,
monolithic, yeah.
In the UK, it's a little bit different, at least where I grew up. And I can't speak for the whole of the UK, but I can speak for London, right? In the parts that I grew up. I grew up in a pocket of East London, and I went to school in a part of North London. Now, I come from a low socioeconomic family. So we were in that environment, right? Yeah. Within that environment, at least, I can't speak for the blokes by the Queen, or I can't speak for all those folks, right? But within that environment, I know that, and it's the same here. That's something that's similar. That Black is a trend, but it's something that people literally adopt. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Windrush of the 60s, probably are. So the Windrush essentially was a mass movement of people from the Caribbean, particularly Jamaica, to the UK in search of jobs, in search of labor, right? Okay. Huge. This is the reason why there are so many Afro-Jamaicans in the UK overall, right? That has literally become British culture. British culture has so many different characteristics that stem from that, from the from Jamaicans coming to the UK, right? So when you come across different communities in London, in the UK, you will see a very kind of people speaking patois, but yet their parents are from China or Turkey, or they're Turkish,
Wow.
etc. And so it's really interesting to see how many people kind of adopt the idea of Blackness and embrace it. But coming here, it's different.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna say, because here it's adopted, but it's adopted like
it's a trend and it's exploited.
It is absolutely exploited. But what you're talking about is like not cultural appropriation, but a culturalization. Like you just now instead of like, oh, thank you for this, we're using it. Oh, now it's stupid. It's out of favor. Yeah. It is like, no, we like patois. So come on, this is what we do. I think so. I think some of that has to do, and so I spend most of my time on business stuff. So I have economic theories, and I realize it all relates together. But I think differently about the caste systems in America, and people like caste system. We don't have that. It's like, oh, honey, you're so cute. You are so cute. You think we don't? Oh, okay. Sure, you're free. You could be anything you want. But we have this illusion in America that we could be. The majority of Americans, I'm sorry, the average net worth of Americans is like less than $200,000, right? Mm-hmm. The majority of Americans reject the idea of a wealth tax above 5 million. Mm. Why? Because on average, the majority of you will never get that. Never, ever know. Never know. Yeah. But America has convinced people so much that it could be. Mm. That people they would rather suffer in the short term and give those in a different caste opportunities and access and give it to them in hopes that they will be able to bribe or get their way into it. And when they do, I don't want to have to worry about you'll be dead anyway. I apologize. And so the difference that I believe, and again, I defer to your experience, is that you're in a caste system in Europe, like centuries and centuries and centuries. That's why movies like A Knight's Tale, where the Thatcher's son becomes a knight crowned by you. Okay, sure, that happens. And you know why they call them fairy tales? Because they don't happen. Yeah. And so because of that idea that this is where we are, to me, it brings more people in that level together. Yeah. Because I know you're going to be, you're here. I know you're here. I know you're not going anywhere because I can't go anywhere. We in this together. And so then as we vote, as we think our policies, we have to think unified because we know we're not unified. In America, it's a little bit different. We all believe that, we can do it with one more degree, one more, whatever you want your one more, because it's all fantasy anyway. You can just put anything in it. Just call it one more schmoofalore. If you get one more schmoofalore, you could, there's no such thing as schmoofalore. Just like it up. So that's and again, this is my personal, so to be clear, I didn't study any of this. I just read random books and articles, and I think a lot. And use medical cannabis, but that might not have anything to do with this. So, as a scholar in this, a scholar and a professional in this space, what I described about this, the unity within socioeconomic status, is that consistent with what you've seen, or is it that I've just been in America and we do that here?
So there is a sense of unity within, like you said, that socioeconomic kind of status. There is a sense. However, people are people at the end of the day. Humans are going to be humans, and we can get down as deep as what a particular person's personality is like. And when you look at it this way, it becomes a very complex system, right? When you look at it this way. But yes, there is a sense of unity, but then there is also a sense of separation. Now, I don't mean separation as in all of the Afro-Jamaicans are in this corner and all the Afro people from Montserrat are in this corner. No, there is kind of cross-kind integration in that way, but also there are different mind frames and ways of thinking. And I think that is essentially your caste system.
Got it. Philosophical caste systems or ethical caste systems.
Exactly.
Huh.
Yes.
Oh, see, this is why you have qualified people to come here. Because now I would have been on spitting that theory, and it's like, well, yeah, no, I have facts now, and now I have to go back and reflect, and I appreciate that because that's what this part of this journey is about. So there are a lot of us who, while we might not be the little girl who is excited to go to New York one day when she becomes successful, we might be the ones who get excited to go to Atlanta just for the weekend or make it to the Caribbean. I got a passport, but I keep going to Aruba. Like I only go to Aruba, and it's like you don't have a passport, you have a commuter pass, and you commute to Aruba. Like that, I got issues. I apologize. I'm gonna get a note on that one because that's about somebody in particular, and they know who I'm talking about. So I know that's gonna be a thing. But when you talk about the benefits of the educational and the social benefits of travel, it is enough to head to New York from time to time, go across the country, or go to the neighborhood, or are you talking about like going to the motherland? Is that like where? How do I get to know the diaspora as just a random Black dude in Baltimore?
So this is my bread and butter. I love this conversation. So as an archaeologist, and again, I'm not going to say I'm an archaeologist because a paper says I'm an archaeologist, right? Piece of paper says it, but it's because that is one of my passions and where my mind leads me when I'm researching, right? So I think knowledge is power. It's also key into what it is that you decide to act upon, right? So if you know, for example, that the indigenous people of Thailand are Black, and I say are because they still exist in Thailand, right?
Oh, wow.
Very small population, maybe no more
I
than
did not know that.
But if you know that, and you know that there is a commonality there because you are both of the Afro diaspora, they may have been in Thailand for 50, 60,000 years, but still have that connection. Why would you then not want to go to Thailand and I'm not saying to tokenize these people or to treat them as if they're artifacts. No, do not do that because we don't like to be treated as, show things, right?
Yeah, there's too much of that right now.
But if you have that knowledge that we exist everywhere in this world, not just in the West, everywhere, where you may not even realize, that's going to make you, at least that's what made me want to travel further. It's not about going to, and I'm going to speak as if I'm still in the UK. It's not just about going to Spain or to Turkey, although those places sound exotic here in the USA.
Yeah.
They are beautiful places, but it's not just that, right? Europe is great in a way, but so is the motherland. And I'm half African, so I can say this. The motherland is not the end all be all either. Because I feel like, yes, a lot of us are starting to realize, yes, we have roots in the motherland. It's important, but we are, and I may get into trouble from saying this.
Oh, yeah, you will.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's going to be awesome. I'm just going to be awesome.
I'll be vague then. We are everywhere.
Yeah, we got to keep going with it. If we need to edit it, I'll take it out.
We are everywhere, and we in many places are the original peoples of those places as well. And which is why we shouldn't just feel like we are subjected to certain parts of the Caribbean, certain parts of the States, and certain parts of Europe and the motherland, right? Because those are the only places that we feel like we belong, and we feel like we'll be able to connect with people and we'll be respected because people there look like us. We can go anywhere. We can go anywhere. And there is that common kind of belief that we may be seen as strange, as not being accepted. And there are cases where that is true, but act upon it anyway.
I think I do know what you're talking about, and I can give kind of my process about how I actually just got out of the country the first time. And it was on, my cousin, she was in the military and she lived in Italy. And my ex-wife and we had never gone on a honeymoon. And so we were going to go to Italy for the honeymoon and stay with her, blah, blah, blah. But it was a really big deal for me. And some of it, and some of what you're saying about the idea of The idea of what that the motherland is the end all be all, and that we can actually be other places. We as American Blacks, we live in a place where they don't want to tell us that the people here used to hang us. Like that is, and this socialization through our educational systems, through our media, through our police force, and all of this socialization. So as somebody who grew up in a different type of segregation in the UK, and also actually having parents who can say we are from this place, for me, just the idea, like, so here's a story that always for me symbolizes what this is. There was a lady, she was going to some country in Africa as part of her job to, whatever, she was a technical expert or something, blah, 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 company. And they had a translator with her, and she's an African-American lady, and she went to a group of workers, and she said, "Hi, my name is whatever, and I'm an African-American woman from wherever I am." And he was saying it, and then the person asked him a question, and they started talking back and forth. She was like, "I only said like who I was, all this conversations." She said, "What did you say?" And he said, "They were asking me, were you really from America?" Because they thought all Americans were white. And the second was that they didn't know what an African-American person was. So I had to explain to them that you were one of the stolen people. I heard that. And when I heard that story, I just started crying, and it hit me differently because I was one of the stolen people. And that it was, those movies where you see everything going fast forward, like, it happened because like in that moment, it made sense to me. That story was not even my own experience, my connection to a place. I could understand it differently because the reality, as educated as I find myself to be, and as on the cutting edge of fighting for Black people, I did not realize that subconsciously my history did not start until slavery. And so the idea that I was kidnapped, at least, it means that, because now I can have a story about they cared for me, they miss me, they all of this. And I'm putting in kind of the one-on-one human experience, but like that larger social context is still part of that idea. And so I think in America, that's why for a lot of people, the motherland for some Blacks in America is like the trip to Mecca to some Muslims. It is something that you have, if you do it, it is a spiritual experience, because we have been so spiritually deprived for so long. Like to sit in 20, and I know this isn't what, well, no, it is, because we okay. Because I get show notes. I'm like, are they gonna say this is off topic? Okay, no. But to sit through a period now and recognize, like literally to sit around and recognize that this is history, like the years that we are living right now are going to be the stuff of people's dissertations, of academic study for generations to come. And to sit and realize that part of the lesson that somebody is going to have to fucking learn is that nobody wanted me to know that I was kidnapped. 2022. So and again, I guess this is also why the importance of understanding the work that you're doing, the Travel Summit, and getting people to understand that this is not just about here, because everybody lies, every country does. But you get the truth when you go to ask somebody else. Watch this. So like if you at your house and somebody says, and you go to if everybody at Aunt May's house is saying one thing, well, you go and ask your cousin, because they're going to tell you the real deal. Because you got somebody over there that understands you, and that's what this is an opportunity to do. We spend so much friggin' time looking at other cultures and other people's highlight reels when we're stuck with our editing room floor. Like if you could I've seen so many trailers that are wonderful for movies that suck. And the American educational system is like that. We get the highlights and the trailer for white America from 1880. We stepped, we walked, we see some people, and we did. Because there's got to be a cheesy 80s theme song to the America show. And then it's like, and then you sitting there as Black people, we sitting there like, I remember that time. That was cool.
Yeah.
Oh God, this was horrible. Oh no, like ours are bloopers. Our entire thing are not like funny bloopers. That's the thing you keep showing for us.
Yeah.
And we get the trailer. Not even you didn't even make the movie. So again, you said calming down. Um, all of that to say, it is important, and I want you to talk about the travel summit and the work that you do. I know I ask you questions and I jump back in. I'm sorry. It's just that the work that you do, the science behind it is really important, and I'm frustrated by people thinking that 23andMe and Ancestry.com is the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna drink some water. So tell us about the Black Travel Summit.
No, definitely. So the Black Travel Summit, it stemmed from, as mentioned before, this desire to find a way to empower people in a way that can mean more. Mm-hmm. Because traveling is, I think, the best method of being taught, right? Yeah. When you go and experience, you can immerse yourself in these different cultures, in these cultures that you feel connected to, and even those that you don't feel connected to. That's where that learning experience comes in, where you can have more of an understanding of human nature, not just within the bubble that we live in, mm-hmm. but outside of that as well, right? Because we have our own experiences, but what is that person on the other side of the world's experiences? Right. And how can we potentially see eye to eye on certain things and have that common kind of human connection and understanding, even if we don't speak the same language? Right. And that's where the Black Travel Summit is important, because it not only brings our people within our community together into one space to celebrate and recognize each other, mm-hmm. but celebrated and recognized by others in the tourism, travel and tourism industry as well, right? And when we look at travel and tourism, it is naturally an international. There is a Ministry of Tourism in the UK. Countries want us to visit. They want us to visit not only because we spend over $160 billion in travel anyway, yeah. Right? There is that incentive. But then I've had genuine conversations with people from Ministry of Tourism and other countries that ask me, how can we make people, African Americans particularly, how can we make people feel more comfortable and feel like they are accepted and respected here? What is it that we can do? And genuinely wanting to have those conversations where they want people to feel comfortable in coming to their country and not like they're going to be berated or demeaned by any of the members of that public, right? Mm-hmm. So this is where this is important, because not only do we, again, celebrate and recognize individuals that are spearheading different movements in travel, mm-hmm. but who are travelers themselves. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to come to it. You don't have to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, right? If you love to travel, you want to connect with like-minded individuals who love traveling, because mm-hmm. even though I may own, quote unquote, a travel business, that doesn't mean, I love traveling. That's where it stems from. Right. So we already have that in common. And that's something that we can talk about. We can talk about our experiences. We can communicate with those individuals from outside of the country and really talk to them on a one-on-one level about what it is that is going to make us feel like we can travel more to your destination.
Right. That is wonderful. And again, I love the way that it is always instructive and empowering. Mm-hmm. It's not just about, hey, come meet some people, sign up for this, get on our membership list. It really is about transforming how they see the other cultures around them and see the diaspora. Yeah. So you know what? Let's because again, I this is the part of the show notes I remember. Okay, we're going to make sure that people understand what your needs are and how they can support you. So go ahead. You know what? Let's switch this up because we're going to give you the floor. You want to tell them what it is you need. We don't so that we don't play around about that. You need resources, you get resources. I mean, I be damned. Come to my show and you don't get no resources. Then you look at me like I'm stupid. I don't want that. All right. So tell them how they can get in contact with you and what's
Yes. Yeah, most definitely. So if you are interested in participating in the Black Travel Summit, whatever that may mean, whether you come as a vendor, an exhibitor, if you want to join us as a speaker, if you feel like you have something to say, something to contribute, or you just want to join us as a guest, right? Reach out to us. www.blacktravelsummit.com. You can reach us via email, info@blacktravelsummit.com. Follow us on social media at Black Travel Summit. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. And I will personally see to it that all of your emails are received and well received and responded to, because at the end of the day, it really is just about community, and we are strong together, right? So I'm going to want to help in whatever way that means and whatever that looks like to you. So we want to see you there. We want to see you at our upcoming event this June, Voyage in Color in Miami.
Voyage in Color in Miami. Oh, you in the MIA. Uh-oh.
Yes, in Miami, but we have historical components as well because, like you said, people of color, we always like to have that give back element, right? So we want people to see and we want to highlight the history of Black people in Miami. Right, so that there are those components that are added to the event as well, where you can participate in that, learn about the history of Black people in Miami, but also contribute in a way that benefits the communities that we reside in Miami.
So the funny part is that you mentioned that you'll be in Miami soon. Big ups to let me change the layout because I gotta say something now. Big ups to Erica Myers, a fosterpreneur. I love the volunteer opportunities that I have there. Fosterpreneur teaches entrepreneurship to individuals who are alumni of the foster care system. Awesome. And one of the cool parts, and why, because so this isn't just a random thing. Like this is actually going to tie back in. Because and again, I'm sure people like that. Oh my God, what is he talking about now? This is going to come back. So. And working with Fosterpreneur, we have a partnership with Casa Valentina in Miami, and it's an organization that works with at-risk youth and homeless youth. And we are starting a cohort down there this summer. And so I may even be down there. What are the dates of the summit?
It's from June 17th to the 19th.
I actually might be down there then. So but either way, make sure... hit me up afterwards. I'll connect you with Erica. She'll hook you up with the people down in Casa Valentina, and we'll make sure, because we again, this is what we're talking about.
Yes,
we're all connected in this, and if we got people over here, let's get us all together, because that way we might actually be able to achieve something all together. So awesome.
Exactly.
Awesome.
And this is just naturally who we are. You know, if we take a fruit from the tree, we're gonna use the seed to plant another one. Right.
That is it. So you know what? We might have to have an anthropological conversation in the future. So one, I am inviting you back. So you got the link to settle it now too. So don't get it twisted. It's on you. But y'all pay attention. You see, I put that on her. You see how you transfer risk. Remember the business show we did, transferring risk. This is an example of what I was talking about. Transfer risk. See. If she not back here again, it's her fault. You see that? Not even my fault. Not even my fault. I won't even get a show note on that. But I really would like to talk about, like, one of the things that you mentioned was this idea that as a community, if we do pick up fruit from the tree, we're going to plant the seed. I've been reading some things and just kind of thinking on my own about the difference with with Caucasians. And want to talk to somebody, again, who has expertise about this idea about kind of the environment generating or being responsible for some of the evolution of many of our social philosophies and social engagements, like capitalism, versus what they know. I hate using the word socialism because very few people who actually use it now actually know what the hell it means. And it's but that kind of communal system.
Yes.
And I think for me, some of it has to do with the way that the earth provided.
Mhm.
If the earth provides well, if you can just take the seed, walk down a mile, and just pop it in, and it'll grow a tree. I don't have to. Versus living in a place where if I can get a potato to grow, I'm
Yeah.
going to kill all of you if you come near my fucking potato. Everyone will die. You, Junior, defend the potato. Everyone, defend
You
the
know what you're
potato.
talking about right now? You're talking about, and you probably heard of it, the scarcity versus the abundancy theory. So the
I mean,
scarcity,
context clues, I can get that, but like,
yes,
yeah, no, yeah.
yes, exactly, right. But
But it's an actual theory.
it's an actual theory.
Okay.
It's scarcity versus abundance, right? Now, coming from the tropics, so to speak, right? You know that if you're hungry, you can go down, a couple yards to this tree
And find something.
and find something to eat, right? But if you are within a barren environment where it's going to take you forever and a day to find something, so when you find it, you want to keep it to yourself because you don't know the next time you're going to come across something, right? And that is where it's a very interesting study, and we can definitely go into it more next time.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna fit in so well around here because I was like, okay, no, you're right, you're right. That's just showing that waiting to happen. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Oh, Anita, it has been wonderful. I am grateful to have such a fast friend and such a knowledgeable friend as well. So thank you so much for joining us. And I'm looking forward to the next conversation. I'm gonna finish that book because I think it's called like the Iceman coming to something. I started reading it. But now I gotta put it on the fast track. Can't just have it in the rotation. I gotta let that ADHD stuff go and focus on the one book. Like, everything down to one book.
Thank you, William.
So much. Thank you so much. And I'm so looking forward to the next time we talk.
Yes, and you, William. It was such a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Have a great one.
And you. Take care.
Bye-bye. Yo, see, normally I get to the end of an interview and I'm like, yo, I know dope people and I get to bring dope people to you. I didn't even know she was that dope. I didn't even know because okay, so but y'all know me though. Y'all could you know the accent. I was like, yo, she is so smart because of the accent. And then she was like, don't do that. I was like, oh, did I just fall into the trap? I colonized my own self. Oh my god, like I love this show so much. I love this show. All right, okay, well, okay, all right. Oh, no, that's gonna be another note. Oh wow, and I think I cursed it several times. I gotta get. Oh, it was worth it though. It was a hell of a conversation. It was worth it. I'll eat the fines. The notes or whatever. I mean, and Brandy and Horse talking. No, don't say that. You went too far this song. Oh, now they're gonna now I'm gonna get in trouble for making fun. Oh God. I'm gonna stop this now. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, we will be black tomorrow.